My name is Esteban Ocars, Senior Systems Engineer for the Southwest, and today we're talking about closing data protection deals with Nutanix. So we'll be referencing a customer today, a major manufacturing customer that was looking at Nutanix to help them provide disaster recovery to offsite locations, as well as encompass some of their remote branch office as well. So the major driving factor for them, and one of the key pain points, was new compliance that had to be met. So the compliance was driving this particular deal and for them adopting some sort of disaster recovery plan. So they didn't have a new data center picked out yet, and they were worried about the cost of what that would encompass. So perhaps colo, perhaps actually a new facility. The IT team already had enough on their plate managing the current Nutanix infrastructure that they had, but they were worried about what that management would look like at scale and what would that data set look like running in multiple locations. They also had some aging hardware that they would like to leverage for an offsite location, but really what we want to tell them is putting Nutanix everywhere can save on cost, and we can show that. Also, they had branch offices, and we really want to position Nutanix in those branch offices as well as the headquarters in DR. With that, we can use multi-site replication and really own the entire infrastructure through Prism Central and manage it centrally. So we had some challenges with this customer about introducing Nutanix for their DR platform. They were already a Nutanix customer, so they had comfort in the design and architecture, but really they knew about traditional replication and backup technologies and not really position Nutanix in that particular bucket for them. So there was some employee fear-mongering about using Nutanix everywhere as opposed to leveraging technologies from a Veeam or a Commvault or VMware. So VMware was actually in there as a competitor in using their SRM product and some vSphere replication, and they really tried to sell the customer on using that aging hardware so they could use replication from the vSphere perspective. We could combat that by saying, you already own the license for Nutanix replication, so why not have Nutanix in both locations and your branch offices and leverage that already pre-purchased license? We had to do some training for the customer to really show them what centralized management looked like. This is something that our competitors really can't touch on because they don't have something like Prism Central. This is really the one pane of glass that customers are looking at from a global management perspective. So with Nutanix at branch offices, as well as the HQ and the DR location, Prism Central can help manage that very, very easily for your customers. Big selling point when talking about data protection. Let's go a little deeper into the competitive nature of this deal. We had some third-party vendors that were really positioning that aging hardware play and trying to get that customer to take the cost advantage of putting their aging hardware in the DR facility. When positioning Nutanix, we really wanted to show them a comprehensive solution where we had Nutanix at the branch offices and the DR facility. This would allow us to use Prism Central as well as the pre-invested replication licenses. Also, when we're talking about colo facilities, power, cooling, and rack space are very real costs in the long term. Showing ROI and TCO to that customer by adopting Nutanix instead of using that aging hardware actually makes a lot of sense. The support costs on that aging hardware over time actually jump up quite considerably. We also had to combat a little bit of FUD from the competitors in there. Not just the vendors that we partner with like Veeam and Commvault, but also from VMware that was positioning SRM and vSphere replication. All I can tell you is to really take advantage of the Nutanix field resources and help educate the customer on exactly how the design would work and show them what that ease of management looks like utilizing Prism Central and utilizing replication that's already built into the product. Now let's talk about closing the deal. This particular deal came down to the wire and it really started being about cost. Sometimes the deals go that direction and you have to be ready for that. That's where tools like TCO and ROI can really come into play. Bringing someone on site, we have some TCO ROI specialists that can really sit down with the customer and help understand what that solution will look like from a price perspective in the long run. So even though they had some aging hardware that they could leverage in a DR facility, by putting Nutanix there and showing what the ROI would look like from a power, cooling, and management perspective, actually showed cost savings by adopting new infrastructure with Nutanix. Management overhead, along with security, and easily to scale that infrastructure to actually add new 6,000 nodes when they needed more space, made a lot of sense. We have a comprehensive data protection suite, so we can actually have local backups in the headquarters and the remote branch offices, as well as storing that data in the DR facility. This made a lot of sense at scale for the customer. You have a ton of Nutanix resources available to you. Since this particular customer was already a Nutanix customer, we were actually able to leverage the hosted POC to hook into their environment and show them what data protection looked like and demo that for them. That was a very, very powerful selling tool. We could show them the workflow, and their IT team actually felt a lot better when considering Nutanix at scale for their entire environment. Best practices, reference architectures, ton of documentation that you can give to your customer to show them what a rock-solid solution we have. Also, don't forget customer references. Chances are that we have same vertical and same customer size already using Nutanix and using this particular feature that they're looking at, and we can actually leverage a phone call with them and show them we have success in this field. And lastly, TCO and ROI are very, very important tools that you can leverage to show the customer a lower cost over a 3 to 5 year span. Thank you for your time, and always remember the Nutanix field team is here to help.